just projectile sneezed on my monitor. Disgusting.
Yeah. Welcome.
What?
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to edition number 4 of the old Sodcast. And I'm just getting the chat up there. So thank you, anyone who might be joining us live throughout the night or is indeed watching us on demand, on replay, on YouTube. I'm here today, as always, with my gracious co-host, not suitable for mum, Jason Clow. Hi, Jason.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Looking forward to the stream. Yeah.
Good. So, a couple of quick notices before we get going. I want to thank anyone who stopped by the Eurovision stream last Saturday. As you will have no doubt noticed, if you did try and catch any of the replay, it got completely taken down just before we were ending, actually. And I won't go into like the grave details because it's not very interesting. But yeah, basically, I've had a slap on the wrist for that, which I did expect. But the main thing is, I had fun. I'm assuming Jason had a lot of fun.
Yeah, very much so.
Our one-off special guest co-host, Link Gooding, I think had a good time as well. And if we do it next year, which is like obviously a good 11 and a bit months away, so I'm not going to sort of say whether it's going to be definite or not. But if we do it next year, it's going to have to be a different way where I'm not streaming the event as well, because otherwise, because I'm just risking getting my channel deleted for the rest of my life. And I'm too set in my ways to start a new one. So and the other bit of business, I don't know if you can see on the ticker bar that's just at the bottom of the screen there, but we'll be back for the next old Sodcast in 3 weeks. We usually do it every 2 weeks, but it's going to be 3 weeks because in 2 weeks' time, Jason and I are away. It's our honeymoon. We've been doing it for a long time. The wedding was back in 1982. Jason was a sprightly 42-year-old. I was I'm not going to carry on with that.
That sounds a bit dodgy.
It would have ended up, even though it was blatantly false, it would have ended up a really dodgy anecdote. Yeah. So, but no, Jason and I are away, and so we're having we need to have a week's break from the podcast. So we're just putting it back to the following week, which is, if the ticker bar will show me, I think 11th of June. It said.
Sounds about right to me. Yeah,
we'll be doing a live show. Just having a little bit of a look in the chat. Chumsvan1243, hi you two. Wayno the Pop says, "Good afternoon, chaps from Mexico." Hi, Wayno.
Nice one, Wayne.
Super Pop Bro, a blast from the past. Hi, Jimmy. Chumsvan's birthday today. Happy birthday, Chums. Nick's Vinyl Butty is in. Watching and eating me dinner. Thank you for coming in, Nick. I'm still looking forward to seeing you wearing that Norman Maslow t-shirt again. I bet that's probably a purchase you regret. You know, buyer's remorse, Nick. Didn't you get that the day you opened that atrocity? And Bro says, enjoy your honeymoon. Right, so the old Sodcast 4, as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about memorable music videos. And while that might sound a little bit vague, hopefully the term music video would have been better than promo video, because I often call music videos promo videos, but that seems a little bit kind of I'm trying to be like someone in the industry or something saying that. But
well, that's what they are, to be fair.
But again, music videos, as in, you know, what we do on YouTube, can be like a, you know, just like anything in the VC room.
Right. You don't need to Jimmy explain.
I've done a music video where it's just someone talking about an album or whatever. So memorable music videos, and we know there's a lot, and we'd love people in the chat to get involved and tell us your favourite or most memorable music videos of all time. And another bonus for people watching today, This one is going to be mainly led by my co-host, Not Suitable for Mum, because he's the one who's done all the donkey work for this. He's actually chosen, I think, was it 8 or 10?
8 videos.
8
if
videos.
We get to them all,
we might not get to them all, but he's chosen 8 videos that he is either a big fan of or he just thinks is really memorable. There's a couple of kind of, for me anyway, curveballs in there, ones that I'm not familiar with, but Jason's going to talk about all of them. Well, there's a couple, hopefully, if we get to them at the end, that I'll be able to talk more about.
Yeah.
Really, I'm just going to be treating this as a chance to sit back and learn something from the old master. Well,
it's taken a bit of research, I'll be honest.
Old is certainly true, and as for master, I think we're missing a couple of syllables off the end of that, but we won't say what those are. So, Jason, memorable music videos. It's over to you.
Okay. Well, okay. These aren't really in any particular order. It's just, I've got a list and made some notes. That's it. So the first one, anyway, was Super Furry Animals. I don't know if people remember them from the 90s. And the song the video in question was "It's Not the End of the World." I thought it was quite a good tune.
I don't remember this one. This is what I'm saying. Jason started out with one that, for me, is really obscure. Super Furry Animals. It's Not the End of the World. I can't even recall the song, to be honest. But carry on.
It's quite sort of a calming tune. I'll read off some of what I've got anyway. So when the lead singer was talking about it, he described it as being about the extinction of mankind, but as a romantic sort of song in a way. It's sort of a ballad, if that makes sense. It's a bit weird. But then a lot of their songs, I don't know if you remember any of their other songs.
I've got one Super Furry Animals album. I've got Rings Around the World on mini disc.
Well, that's from their album, I believe.
Oh, I should know it. Then shows how long I've listened to that mini disc once, and it was about 7 years ago.
Okay. Well, anyway, basically the video is computer animated style video. It's got a kind of a steampunk feel to it, if that makes sense. You've got zeppelins in it. You've got lots of cogs and gears and all the rest of it. And you've got this guy who's looks like almost like a little robot almost. And it's about him going on about his day-to-day work. And
just to interrupt you for briefly, I just want to mention Rach, Rach has mentioned her favourite music videos. Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. I believe I do know that one. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's like a black and white thing, possibly. Basket Case by Green Day. Yeah, that was set. Was that meant to be set in like a care home, or am I getting that a bit wrong? Maybe.
Can't remember.
And Devil in Eye by Slipknot. I don't know that actually, but I'm not really. Well, I'm not a My Chemical Romance fan, to be honest, but I don't know that by Slipknot certainly. But thank you for those, Rach. If you think of any more of your favourite videos, then please let us know. Anyway, back to Jason. Animals.
So anyway, this little robot chap, he's going about his day-to-day life, all the rest of it, and he basically gets conscripted into the army, and then you've got these, men in the big hats pressing on the magic button, as it were, trying to destroy each other. So a bit sort of dark, but the way it's done, it's almost like a cute video. So you've got which I think works with the song, because you've got that dark undertone, and yet it's quite a light tune. I don't know if anybody's seen that one, if they remember what I'm on about.
It's quite an obscure one to kick off with.
Yeah, it was directed by a studio called Numero 6, and it actually won a couple of awards. 2002 is whatever the Imaginer Festival is, whatever that is. And that was in 2002, special jury prize. So it's obviously got noticed. But yeah, I mean that was one I like the video. I think it's very cleverly done, and you don't, although as I say, although it's dark subject matter, you don't really feel it just because the way they've done it. It's almost like tongue in cheek.
Rachel's also brought up like "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana. It's funny that I do remember the promo, the music video for that very well. For me though, the performance of Teen Spirit that always sticks out for me is the one when they first appeared on Top of the Pops. That for me, that's even more memorable than the video, even though the video would have obviously been shown on MTV. On rotation all across the world for probably like a good few years or so.
Oh yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because I've literally seen that today. Yeah, I've seen it before, but it was another one that came up.
I do appreciate a good video, even when I don't particularly like the song. I don't dislike Teen Spirit, but I mean, we talked about kind of overrated bands and artists a couple of weeks ago, and Nirvana and grunge music did come up for me personally, but it's I wouldn't say it's like a groundbreaking video. That it's just
it's memorable.
It's memorable. It's kind of one of those that does sort of stick in your memory. But for me personally, that Top of the Pops performance is way more memorable.
Yeah.
Well, that's more comedic reasons, really. Wayno's World of Pop says his favourites are Park Life by Blur. Yeah, very colourful one, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a Sin by the Pet Shop Boys. Yeah, great video there. And Stand by Eminem. Oh, that's one.
Yeah, that's a good choice, actually. I mean, some of them, I was going to say, some of them aren't, like you said, they aren't the most groundbreaking, but they fit perfectly with what is going on. Don't they? I mean, Stan sticks, with the lyrics and everything as well. It sticks in your head.
It's a question regarding, and people in the chat, feel free to let us know your thoughts as well. But I'll pose it to Jason simply as I'm talking to him, face to face, sort of. But people often credit MTV getting started in, that would have been, I'm always unsure of the year, at like 81 or 82's ringing a bell.
I thought it was 82. I wouldn't swear to it, but 82 sounds about right.
You could be right, but regardless, people always credit MTV forming, starting and doing well in America pretty much instantly as being sort of the catalyst for more artists to start making promo videos and making ones that were, what we'll see now kind of 40 years later as being, quite sort of iconic, really. But do you think MTV can be given like the lion's share of credit for music videos? They did exist many years before MTV.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, most of the videos were, if you like, concert footage or just a band playing, lip syncing, whatever, wasn't it really? So maybe from the more point of view of, what should we say, the theatrical aspect of it? Because it's almost like its own performance in itself, isn't it?
I suppose
they're doing a little bit of acting almost.
I suppose, post MTV, like post 1982, you did start to get ones that, and the obvious example, and I know there's plenty of others, but the obvious one that came along probably a year or so later would have been the full-length version of Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
It started to become sort of like mini movies and a kind of like a little sort of 3 or 4 minute feature film, really, but with the song. And then obviously in the case of Thriller, you've got a lot of actual, the full version. I mean, you've got a lot of, sort of bump before and after the actual song itself. So I just because I always feel that MTV get a bit too much credit. But when
I think so,
obviously we know that there was promo videos. I mean, I always say, really, you can thank the Beatles for starting promo video, music videos.
Yeah.
Because they were sending in, I mean, they used to do them for A sides and B sides of their singles.
Yeah.
Back in the mid '60s, when basically they either didn't have the time or they couldn't be bothered to go on to like Top of the Pops or whatever international equivalent it was.
Yeah, I think even Elvis did it as well.
I think with Elvis, and I did see an Elvis performance on an old Top of the Pops the other day.
Yeah.
That was more easier because they just lifted that from a movie that it was in. It was.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to remember what Elvis song it was now. It slipped my mind, but you could obviously tell it was it was just taken out the film. So I doubt. So I wouldn't particularly credit Elvis or the people behind Elvis with the advent of music videos, because all you need to do to make an Elvis music video is to get one of his singing performances from whatever film he's been in.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe that's what I remember. Just remember it differently,
Yeah, it's possibly. Yeah, Rachel also likes Judas by Fozzy. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's an all right video. I like the song, but I've got no strong feelings about the video. And it did come out as like a VHS thing, didn't it? The full length thriller, because people, it was almost like a kind of short feature length movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's a little story behind it, and you got characters doing their thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, Wayno's certainly an Elvis Presley expert here in the chat, so he'd be able to give examples of possible Elvis music videos or ones that were kind of just performances culled from films.
Yeah.
Jason, you've got more of your personal favourite and most memorable videos to talk about. So let's have the next.
The next one is Korn, Freak on a Leash. Don't know if you remember that tune.
I certainly remember the tune. I think I remember the video as well, but I'm going to let you talk about it.
Well, the interesting thing about it was that it started off as an animation, and then it went into like a live action thingy. And the animation, certainly the drawings anyway, but were done by Todd McFarlane, who was responsible for creating Venom from the Spider-Man books, and also Spawn. If people remember either, Venom you'll know, Spawn maybe not so much. But yeah, and he was a big founder of Image Comics. So he was doing all that. I'm just trying to see if I find my thing here. The guy, where are we? Yeah, it was someone called Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris, who were the people that were behind the live action thing. And the basic video is to start off with the cartoon bit. These kids break into the school. I think it must be a school, because they're going in there right after dark and they're playing hopscotch of all things. And then what happens is this security guard comes out to find out what's going on, and he trips. He's got a loaded gun, and the gun goes off. And you're thinking, oh shit, right? And then as it heads towards the girl, if you like, the paper that the animation has done and rips apart as the bullet goes through it, and then it goes into this live action sequence, and then it's basically going through glasses and vases and stuff like that, which is all live action in slow motion, narrowly avoiding all these innocent bystanders. And it even goes into a bit where the band are performing in this room, which is absolutely littered with bullet holes. And then his bullets almost starts dancing around while Jonathan Davies is singing to it.
Yeah,
I won't spoil the end, but I really liked it. I mean, I think Tom McFarlane's quite a good artist anyway. I've always enjoyed his stuff, and Venom is an amazingly popular character. And yeah, it was just struck me as quite a cool little video, because the song's quite a bit different. It's just about him and his sort of disillusion with the way that he was treated by the music business and the media, and that he's got like no control over his own life now. Hence the freak on the leash bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I mean, as I said, I really like the style. It's all about, you also got sort of a semi matrixy feel to it as well.
Yeah. I think that's. I bet it came out probably a similar time to the Matrix
Could
film.
well have been, yeah. I mean, that was the thing. It was a big new technique, wasn't it?
I'd be interested to know which one came first out of those two. Actually,
yeah, I'm not sure.
The film, but I don't know.
I mean, that got awards as well for best music video and best editing. So, you know, that in itself. I mean, all right, this is only stuff like MTV and that, which to a lot of people might not mean anything. You know, it's not like it's the Grammys, but it's still.
Grammys don't mean anything to me, so.
No, well, there you go then. Fair enough. But yeah, no, that's the number two. I would say I really enjoy that video. Never get tired of watching it.
I mean, I certainly remember the whole bullets thing. Yeah.
It was only one little bullet in the main thing, but as I said, until you go in the room and you see that, obviously there must have been other bullets that have come through, because you've got all these little bits of light shining through the bullet holes onto the band, illuminating the band.
Yeah,
it's quite arty.
Nick mentioned about he said Korn did My Time. That's not a Korn song. I'm familiar with it. Are you familiar with that, Jason?
My Time.
Did My Time. I'll put it on screen again for you in case you didn't see it the first. It's not. I don't think that's what. Well, I'm certainly not familiar with it. I'm not sure Jason is either. But
no, there was.
Yeah. And then Rach mentions about the Green Day videos that are like mini movies. Wait a minute, When September Ends. Yeah, that had a couple of famous people in it. Was it Jamie Bell and Kristen? I always forget her name. You know, her out of Twilight she was in it, weren't she?
All right, okay.
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and see that one again. I have watched it, but
Riding Up to the Army. Yeah, pretty good song and a pretty memorable video. That Rach, thank you for bringing that one up. And Nick's just added some more context to Korn Did My Time. He said it's from one of the Tomb Raider films. So there we go.
I watched those a long time ago.
Well, yeah, I mean the promo video isn't necessarily going to sort of be featured within Yeah. But interesting stuff about Korn. The song "Freak on a Leash" it's listenable, but I was never a massive fan of it. But
no, neither was I. But
the promo video is very, very striking.
Yeah,
and certainly will go down as one of the most memorable music videos for a lot of people. Certainly, I wouldn't no arguments and no qualms about discussing it in this particular old Sodcast. So
cool.
We'll go back to the old sod, the older sod. And, unless you've got anything else to say about Freak on a Leash.
No, not really. I mean, I made some notes. If I don't read them all out, I'm not fussed either way. Okay, so you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Now, this one you should remember. Weapon of Choice by Fatboy Slim.
Yes, I do remember that.
Christopher Walken, ladies and gentlemen, right? Basically, you know, if you've ever seen any of his movies, he's quite straight-faced. Not much in the way of facial expression, is there? You might get the odd slight, curl up the mouth now and again. But this one, he looks like he's generally having fun, and it's basically set in a lobby of a hotel, I think, isn't it?
Yes, I believe.
And he's basically sort of doing a bit of tap dancing and all the rest of it. And there's a bit where he suddenly takes off and starts zooming around the ceiling and stuff. And you know, he does. He looks like he's got a twinkle in his eye, and he's trying hard not to laugh. I don't know whether that's just me that noticed that, but that's the way it seems to me.
That's probably what, you know, was trying to avoid corpsing. I can believe that.
Yeah. I've just seen what notes I've got on it. There was a Spike Jonze one. A lot of people know Spike Jonze doing music videos. He's quite famous.
Yeah, Spike Jonze, of course, was one of the people behind Jackass originally as well.
Yes, I believe he was. Yeah.
Yeah. He certainly, I think, co-directed and produced.
Because that was with Jeff Tremaine.
At least first 2 or 3 films, anyway.
Yeah. What did it get? Oh, 2000, shows how long ago it was. 2001 MTV Video Music Award. This one did win a Grammy for Best Music Video. So there you go. Yeah, apparently the song is to do with, it's a reference to the worms in June and how I've not seen the film, so someone will have to correct me about this, but they did like some vibrations through the ground to attract the worms. So I'm guessing what he means by that is that his beats and all the rest of it are what are attracting, the vibrations to get things moving, is kind of a metaphor. I don't know if that makes sense. That was the impression I got from it anyway, from what he was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fatboy Slim. When you say Fatboy Slim and music video, to me, it's, as for which one is the most memorable, for me, it's always a toss-up between Weapon of Choice and the video for Praise You.
Yeah.
Because Praise You was a bit of an odd one. That may have been a Spike Jonze one as well. I'm not going to bother looking.
I'm pretty sure he did a couple of his.
Mm.
Yeah, there was.
It was all those. I know we're not talking about the right song here, but the video for Praise You always gave me kind of religious cult vibes for some reason.
Yeah, it was a weird dancing thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like they were becoming one with the music, as it were.
Mm. I prefer the song Praise You, the track Praise You, to Weapon of Choice, but I think maybe simply because of Christopher Walken,
with that,
I think Weapon of Choice may be the slightly better promo video, but both of those are particularly memorable as far as that was.
Right now is quite a good video as well, if I remember correctly.
Oh yes, of course.
With the caveman evolving,
evolution of man, didn't it?
Yeah. So that was quite good. He did have some good music videos, that bloke. And some pretty good music as well, has to be said.
Yeah.
Okay, so any comments?
Is anything else to say about that, or do you want to move on?
No. I'm just leaving people to say.
It's your show this evening, Jason, so you can say as much or as little about these if you want.
So we're going to get. We've only been on here after an hour. We're up to number 4 already.
Cool. Like I say, hopefully we'll, people in the chat will maybe drop some of their favourite music videos.
Yeah, please do, please.
Yeah.
I'd love, because the thing is, even if we're not familiar with them, we can go back and we can go, all right, make a note of that. We go back and watch. There's a couple that Rach said about that I know I've seen, but they didn't really stick in my head. So I'm wondering why maybe they didn't. I mean, there's I could have made 3 times this list, but I thought we're never going to have the time to go through it all. So, that's why I didn't go nuts. And it's also something that, I don't know, 6 months down the line, a year's time, we might want to revisit it for others.
Very possibly,
especially if you guys have got any suggestions. Like I said, we can go away, we can have a look. I know, because that's to me. I don't know about yourself, Jimmy, but I like the fact that people like interacting with us and giving us their thoughts and all the rest of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're ready, I'll do the next one. Okay, it's Foo Fighters, "Learn to Fly." Right, and I don't know if you probably remember that one as well.
It's the one on the aeroplane, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So really, the song itself is literally Dave Grohl said he was just there, and he wanted to learn to fly for real. So about him being a pilot. That's the initial, if you like, foundation of the song. If not, the whole thing itself. So what was that?
Rach asking if anyone remembers "Do the Bark Man."
Oh, blimey, yeah. Yeah. I suppose in a way, it's memorable. It was kind of, it's like a mini version of a Simpsons episode, wasn't it? Really?
Mm. Yeah, Rachel's reminding me that Jack Black was in Learn to Fly, weren't he?
He was. I was going to mention that. Both him and Kyle Glass.
The Carl Gass in it as well.
Yeah. Both of the guys from Tenacious D.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, the video is that the Foo Fighters are on their plane, obviously going off somewhere, do a gig, whatever. And I think they're probably in premium economy class rather than business class. Anyway, wherever they are, they're sat there, just relaxing, all the rest of it. And the Tenacious D guys, they're in there, and they've obviously got some marijuana or something like that, right? And they're worried about getting caught, so they try and hide it in the coffee machine. And of course, what happens? Dave Grohl dressed up as one of these stewards, because they play lots of different roles in there. If people remember, they probably about 4 or 5 roles each.
Yeah.
Sort of
switching air stewardess, didn't he? From what I remember.
Yeah. Well, I think that was Slater Hawkins was the air stewardess. He was the sort of David Grohl was the camp air steward.
Ah, yes.
And he also played the young girl that's after his autograph.
Mm.
Yeah, if you remember. Anyway, basically, and Taylor was also the big woman that when she starts getting hallucinations and sees her husband as a giant hamburger. Anyway, basically, it's a bit of a giggle. They're having fun doing it.
It was a very fun video. I remember that. And I think it was a good song as well. Yeah.
And it's just basically all these people are tripping like nobody's business, including the pilots, right? And without wishing to spoil the full extent of the video for you, go and watch it. You see the end. There's repercussions and stuff that happen as a result of their actions, and it's just fun. It's just it's a bit silly. The band don't get affected because they're just having a normal drink of coffee or whatever. No, not coffee, because that's what affects them. What am I saying? No, I think they're on the alcohol, so they're not affected by the drugs and the coffee.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to remember it. Sorry, it's been a while.
1999, I want to say, maybe that came out.
Something like that, yeah, it had to be because they formed in about 95, 96. Because I told you, I saw them at Reading Festival, one of their first gigs. I think it was about the third album. So 99 would be about right. Wasn't that the same year? It might be earlier, actually. It came out at the same time as Monkey Wrench, didn't it?
May have been. You'll know more about.
Yeah, I can't remember. No, because I know Monkey Wrench was about 97, so it may have been a bit earlier than that.
Yeah.
I don't
know. We have had some more people suggesting memorable videos in the chat. Wayno, for example, has mentioned one that I think anyone who's seen it and even once will say how iconic it is, and I've seen it, God, no end of times. Take on Me by A-ha.
Yeah.
That's one I think Jason was considering discussing. In fact,
I
don't think it was on your final list.
Yeah.
But
the only reason for not was because obviously I thought it was something that you guys would mention. Yeah, but that's an awesome video, especially for its time, because that was, pardon me, that was what, mid-80s?
Yeah, about 85.
84, 85, something like that. Yeah. You're better at dates than I am with music, far better than I am for remembering such things.
Yeah, one thing I didn't realise till years later, because I think I never saw the very start of the other promo video, but I never realised until a few years later that The Sun Always Shines on TV.
Yeah.
The promo video for that actually followed on from the video take.
Does it?
Yeah. If you watch them, it's like it follows on. It's like a sequel.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to watch that.
I didn't realise for quite a few years afterwards.
No.
What else did Wayno's stuff's going off screen here? Let me just get it back. Porridge and Firestarter. Not one that I like Prodigy, if I can spit it out, but not a video that ever I thought was massively groundbreaking. But yeah, it's memorable.
It was
certainly.
just in your face, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Keith Flint was like, "Whoa, who's that? What's he doing? Why is he doing it?" You know.
Yeah, I think that was Keith Flint's first vocal performance as a Prodigy member as well.
I believe so. He may have had
really
small
been in the band as a glorified dancer up until that point.
I think he did background
call
vocals.
it a band.
Yeah, I think he did background vocals as well, but I wouldn't swear to it.
And Wayno also mentions "Money" by Pink Floyd.
I've seen that one.
I have. It always felt to me like it was just a load of stock footage all put together, but I liked it. It worked well for me.
Yeah,
Pink Floyd. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable shout there, Wayno. Ironically, Pink Floyd being a band who, in the UK anyway, went a lot of years without really releasing these singles.
It's going on a bit of a tangent here. We said about using stock footage. I think it's My Life by Talk Talk. Didn't they take a lot of stuff from nature documentaries?
Yeah, it's funny. I think I included them. It was when I did an introduction to electro pop, and I was in two minds whether to include Talk Talk. I love the song, but I was thinking, well, is this electro pop or is this like new wave?
Borderline, yeah.
And then the little factoid that I put up on screen was about most of that video being taken from the 1979 BBC documentary Life on Earth or something.
That was it. I was trying to remember what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to think I might have. You might have remembered that thanks to one of my.
It's quite possible. Yeah. I know you talked about it.
Yeah. Mentions in the End by Linkin Park. Yeah, I will have seen that. I can't think exactly what that's like. I do like Linkin Park though, so I do appreciate at least the song choice.
Yeah.
Nick's Vinyl Butty says, my all-time favourite is Night Boat to Cairo by Madness. A good fun tune by a good fun band who are all friends doing a good fun video.
I nearly mentioned Madness, actually.
Great single. I'm having trouble remembering when the last time I saw the video was, though. I'm having trouble. I imagine it's set on a boat, but I could be completely wrong and making myself look a tit by saying that.
I've got a funny feeling a lot of them were wearing fezzes, and they were doing the Egyptian dance, prancing about in a white background.
Oh, that one was it? Yeah, it could.
I think that's the one. Yeah. I might be wrong. It might be another one.
Jonathan Ring says, Stay Another Day 17 is a recognisable music video. No, Jason. Well, Jason might be scoffing. It's a great pop song, and it's one of my favourite Christmas number ones.
That's no. In a way, it is memorable because they're wearing them stupid jackets.
Yeah. Then maybe that's one of the most memorable points. Yeah. But it's
fair enough.
It's a valid point. But regardless of what the video's like, I do like that song. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I'm not a big fan of Christmas music, and arguably that's not really Christmassy, but they just put some bells in it in the background, don't they? And then it's well, I can't. Never going to give you up. I sort of rickrolled Jason at the very start of this, actually, Ringo. It wasn't Rick Astley. I just decided to surprise him with something else entirely. But if you
I still wasn't entirely sure what was going on. It was weird.
If you want to go back and watch the replay when it comes up,
I'm going to have to now.
Nick's Vinyl Butty says you don't need to spend millions on special effects and women wobbling their arses and knockers and flaunting them.
Oh, crikey, yeah, that's just ridiculous.
As much as I enjoy seeing it, well, yeah.
But the thing is, they all do it.
What you been such a killjoy for, Nick? You know, we love that sort of thing.
I think the point is that it's been done to death that they're sort of like the LA rappers or R&B artists or whatever. They've all decided to sort of do that. I mean, what's it? You said about music that old "Pretty Fly for a White Guy" by Offspring. They kind of took the mickey out of that, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when he's in his car, and all the ladies were like, praising
yeah.
him, and she's got the lollipop, and she's shaking her
Rach
booty.
mentioned Square Hammer by Ghost. I'm a massive Ghost fan. And they do put some effort into their videos. I've got a Records Roundup coming up, and this is a bit of a spoiler for the channel, but it does feature Ghost's new EP, and one of their promo videos from the EP. I managed to put a clip of that, and it's a good one.
Richard.
Ring mentioned Park Life by Blur. I think Wayno already mentioned that, but yeah, always happy for people to repeat stuff because they might have been in earlier on. Park Life is certainly iconic of its time, and a very colourful video. Always reminds me of sort of like warm, sunny days. Really, Park Life for some reason.
Yeah, sort of.
Richard McCook's here. Hi, Richard. Now,
that's a good video.
This is one I'm not familiar with. I'm wondering, because you're more of a fan of these than I am, Jason, whether you might know about the cars
it's if I remember rightly, I don't remember an awful lot about it, but they had him, the guy's face on a flying around and bothering this woman. If that's the same one I'm thinking about, I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't know. Maybe Richard can give us
please elaborate, Rich.
That, you can't even call it a promo video. Whenever anyone says the Cars to me, as in the band Cars, the first thing my brain goes to is the montage that they used at Live Aid. With Drive and the starving Ethiopians.
Yeah.
But I know that's not a promo video.
No.
That was just something to tug at the heartstrings of everyone at Wembley Stadium that day, and everyone watching on telly, of course.
But another good song. I do quite like the Cars.
Yeah, I don't know them. I only really know Drive, and there might be one or two others that I'll know when I hear them, kind of thing. Nick also mentions about Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. A weird video, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I think it always creeped me out a little bit, that one.
I can understand
we know
that.
Gone for the absolutely obvious Bohemian Rhapsody, who had 8:42 p.m. for the first mention of Bohemian Rhapsody.
You said it, mate. You said it.
If it's iconic and it's memorable to people, then Richard's confirmed that is the one that you're thinking of, Jason.
Yeah.
Good
song. I can't remember the name of the album now. I've got it. I've got the album with Drive and that on it, and I can't remember what the heck it's called. That's going to bug me for ages now until we're going to have a look at my collection. Okay. Anything else?
Interesting memories shared there. Jason's
definitely
got another one on his list that he wants to talk about.
No, as and when people are ready. Okay. A lot of people don't like this guy, and he's certainly earned his nickname. But it is Jamiroquai and Virtual Insanity. Now,
tell us his nickname before you start.
The Twat in the Hat.
No, that's your nickname.
Hey!
He set me up beautifully for it.
So, well done, mate. Well done. Yeah. Anyway, but I mean, let's be honest. His hats are way more elaborate than mine ever will be.
He did like it.
It's like he's got a dead cat sat on his head.
Yeah.
Anyway, people who know the video, it's basically got him in a room. He's dancing around. The floor looks like it's moving. There's furniture moving. So what was that?
Oh, it's all right. Carry it. No.
Yeah.
I'm not to distract you too much with.
That's right. No, I like to see what people are saying.
And then if I can sort of silently answer it, then that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not much to say about it, but it was quite clever. It's him dancing around in and out between the furniture. They actually found out what they did was that for some of the footage, depending on the shot, obviously it was the walls that moved, not the floor. Right? But it makes it, the way it make the eye, it's an optical illusion, obviously, it makes the eye think that it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And I always used to think, maybe it's different loads of hidden conveyor belts and stuff, like the escalator belts. Right, but no, it's they move the walls, and then with the furniture, sometimes it's just stood still, and then in other shots where it's moving, they've actually tethered it to the walls, so you get that impression of the different things moving. And then obviously when there's a thing where they pan up to the ceiling, right, and there's a crow flying by. Obviously, that's when they've changed the scenery. Going to the next one, and the things like there's maggots on the ground and stuff like that as well. It's very much typical Jamiroquai in their sort of man messing around with genetics and ecological stuff and all that sort of thing. But it's a good tune anyway, regardless of what your feelings are on the subject matter. And the video just suits it down to the ground. Even though it's not got much to do with the actual song itself, it does work. And I just thought it was quite a clever technique. Probably been done hundreds of times before. Do you remember a band called OK Go?
Yeah, I know the name, yeah.
Yeah, they did one where they were on treadmills. The four of them were doing synchronized dancing on treadmills. So I kind of got that feel to it. Except it's Jay on his own. And it's a whole room rather than just in a gym, as it were. Yeah. Another good one. That won a few awards. And that, I think that was done by... Was that by Spike Jones or not?
Oh, Spike Jones.
No, actually it wasn't. It was and a guy I have heard of, Jonathan Glazier. I can't think what else he's done, but the name does suddenly ring the bell.
Yeah, it sounds like a name that would be familiar, but he probably isn't.
Yeah.
Virtual Insanity. I always the trouble with Virtual Insanity. I'm talking about the song rather than the video. Is that I heard it a bit too often. It was like on radio.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It was like one of about just 5 songs like commercial radio would have on a loop, sort of thing in the mid-90s. But
yeah, it's not his best song either.
No. Richard's just put up. That's the. I remember buying you that album actually, Jason. Heartbeat City, didn't I?
Thank you. Yes, yeah. You got it for me, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You got it for me. Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember now. In the record trade. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you, Alice. Rach asked if it's the one for Godzilla. No, the one you're thinking of.
That's
this was
Deeper
the first,
Underground,
and I think only Jamiroquai single ever bought. That was Deeper Underground.
Yeah, Deeper Underground. That is a good video. I do quite like that.
And Jonathan Ring knows about OK Go. He says they do great music videos, loads. Not an act. I know. Are they more modern things?
I'm awfully...
Every time Ring says something, I was assuming he's referring to something quite. He's like younger than us.
Well, it was late. Was it early 2000s, something like that?
No, well,
I can't remember. They did another one with Pain. It's they're very sort of arty videos, but they work really well. Jonathan will probably remember what that one was as well.
Now Rach has put one of my favourites up here, "Like a Prayer" by Madonna.
Yeah, that's quite iconic, really.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the actual song's always got to be more important and in some ways better than the video itself. But just as a complete package, like one of my all-time favourite Madonna singles, and I think it's up there for me, one of her best ever videos as well. So great shout there from Rach Kappa, absolutely. I think Ringo's confirming what you were talking about earlier, Jason, about doing videos where they've been on treadmills and they've got cars and dogs dancing and things.
They're quite clever, maybe a bit too clever for their own good sometimes.
Yeah. Ring knows a lot about OK Go. If ever we do a edition of this about OK Go, I think we need to bring Jonathan on as a co-host.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't know. I've heard of them, but I would.
Yeah, I don't know them that well.
One of their songs, but loads of facts about OK Go coming here from Jonathan.
Hello,
Ring. John. So. Virtual Insanity, a good choice. It was a very eye-catching and kind of, as you said, an optical illusion sort of thing.
Yeah, really. It was maybe slightly trippy.
But For me, because the song itself,
Yeah.
A, it was a bit bland for me anyway, and B, I heard it too much. It's kind of
Maybe that's why.
I'm leaning more towards sort of saying, well, no, if I never saw the promo again, it wouldn't bother me. But
fair enough.
I do admit that it's a good promo video. Spice Girls Wannabe, yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake! Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. You can't mention too much cheesy pop in front of Jason. You know that, Bonner.
Yeah.
He almost blew a gasket when you brought up E17 earlier. But yeah, I've got a soft spot for Spice Girls, probably because they just came around in a.
We know you've got a soft spot, mate.
Memorable and important time of my life, personally, but that's. I think Jason's trying to insinuate some sort of remark there, so we'll get him to move swiftly on until his next choice in his 8 memorable.
Right. Well, we're nearly at your videos, right?
Oh, blimey! We're talking about 2 videos.
No. I know. Well, we're at number. Hang on, let me just double check. Just make sure I've got my numbers correctly. Yep. Number 6 already. I've only got 2 more after this. So this one, cracking song, right? By a band actually we've mentioned already tonight, and that was Blur, Coffee and TV. Actually written and lead vocals by Graham Coxon, which was quite unusual for them.
Yeah.
So, remember that one as well, Jimmy?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got quite vivid memories of the Coffee and TV video because it came out. It's another one. A lot of these seem to come around sort of the 1999 mark. Funnily enough.
Yeah. Well, it's my sort of era. It's what I remember.
Well, it's funny because 1999 was the year that my parents first got Sky Digital. So suddenly we went from having, 5 terrestrial channels to all these other channels, including, and being a music fan, I thought like all my Christmases had come at once.
Well, yeah, you would do, wouldn't
you? Until the novelty wore off after about a week because they were just playing the same stuff. But like all this plethora of music channels, you had your MTV, which, well, it was starting to the main MTV was starting to lean away from actually showing music, but they had spin-off channels, MTV2, MTV Base was the one.
We had VH1 as well, which was quite popular back in the day.
Classic, the box. But on a couple of those, Coffee and TV was like a really big video and a really popular one, and it was a really good one. I mean, if you want to tell us more about it, Jason, but Coffee and TV got very vivid memories about being one of the videos that I saw a lot when when we first had Sky Digital.
Okay, well, I've covered a bit of it. It was done by a group called Hammer and Tongs. The song is about a lot of people will know this with Graham. He had a trouble with alcoholism for a while, and it's about him, how he would, he was getting out from it, and he would sit there and he'd literally have a cup of coffee, watch TV, chill out, whenever he felt a bit sort of like tense or whatever, rather than resort to alcohol, which I thought was, quite a good idea. If you listen to the lyrics, there's certainly that there. You can hear it. But the video itself features an animated milk carton, basically.
Yeah.
Called Milky, right? And he's in the Coxon family home. You've got Graham's picture on the side as a missing person. And, the family are obviously really upset and all the rest of it. So Milky takes it on himself to go and find Graham. And it's basically about the things he encounters along the way. He falls in love with this strawberry milk carton, doesn't he?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. She has an untimely demise, shall we say. That's basically the gist of it. But it was just a fun video, right? It's almost like a happy-go-lucky video. And it's like, well, yeah, this guy's been through this thing. But he's like, He's on the road to recovery. There's a good ending to it. You know, that's the feel I got with the whole video in itself. You know, as I said, I won't spoil the ending for you. You know, go if you haven't seen it, do go and watch. Just saying, yeah, there was a couple of things I found out actually after I did my notes. They actually auctioned off the model. Right, I don't know whether it's for charity or what, but they actually auctioned off the original model from the animation. That sold, and when I can't remember which album it was on now. I think it was their 5th album.
It was off the one that had Tender on it, which was just
13.
Yeah, 13. That's the one.
13. Yeah. So when they did the tour for that, they were actually giving away to all the people that went to the gig. I think it's only one of the gigs. They each gave them a model of the figure, like, you know, reproduction. So I thought that was quite cool as well. I did actually look and see if it was available online to buy. Probably cost you a packet, but it would have been interesting to find out. You know.
Yeah.
You know, anything that's sort of like, I like, you know me, I like my prop stuff, don't I? For movies and whatnot, you know, replicas. So, yeah.
Well, just a couple of other ones from the chat. Wayno's World of Pop mentioned Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, that was on my list as well. That was on my list, yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen either of those for a good few years, but I bet they were sort of ones that were played sort of in the early days of MTV, because they would have been coming out around that time.
It was 81, I think. 81, yeah, something like that. Anyways, whenever Prince Charming came out, I can't remember.
Yeah, and both really good singles as well. There.
Yeah.
Now then, Nick's mentioned an interesting one. Great track, but I'm having trouble remembering the video though.
No, I can't remember. I know I do like the song.
Cloud Busting. That was the one Utah Saints sampled, weren't it? Cloud Busting.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
I'm assuming there were some clouds in the video. I will have seen that.
There's some kind of machine or something, and she's got an umbrella or something.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, Nick, you might have to give us a bit more info on that.
Yeah, please, because I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I mean, she always did interesting videos.
With an umbrella and a machine.
Yeah.
Alice has been thinking about Backstreet Boys. Have we talked about Backstreet Boys? Oh, well, we don't talk about anything else but Backstreet Boys, do we, Chase?
No, we love them. We do. They're great.
Can I think of a memorable Backstreet Boys video? I can think of their songs, but I don't know. Their videos kind of, you know, probably blend into one another.
Is it maybe Backstreet's Back, where they're all done up like horror characters?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's quite a memorable one.
Yeah. Well, it must be for me to bloody remember it.
It can't be that memorable for me. I've forgotten it, but yeah. Everybody Backstreet's Back. That's a Backstreet Boys video, Alice. A bit before your time, actually, Alice. That. The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars. I don't know that.
I don't really know them.
It's set on it's based on The Shining.
That could be interesting.
And,
I might have to write that one down.
All the Small Things by Blink-182.
Yeah. Oh, that made me laugh when they come up with the pops for it.
Oh yeah.
With their blood junk.
Yeah, and Wayno says anything by Weird Al Yankovic. Well,
he's got his moments. Yeah,
the master of the song parody, and obviously his videos would have been. I do remember seeing on America's Top 10.
Sorry, what was that? What was that one that was like The Shining again? What was it called?
The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars. I've just flashed it on screen again if you need to write it.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's fine. Not a band I'm overly familiar with. I know of them, but
same here. I know of them, but that's about as far as it goes. Really.
I think my nephew used to like them back in the day when they first started.
But yeah, Weird Al Yankovic. I remember the video for Fat, his Michael Jackson Bad parody. Certainly, and such a funny video. That anyone who's not seen Weird Al Yankovic and Fat, then. Nick's I think confirmed your feelings there. Weather Machine on a Hill was Cloud Bursting by Kate Bush.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember. No, she had some, because in her early career, she had a couple of like videos that are well known. Because we talked about it during the Eurovision, was Wuthering Heights, obviously, where she's prancing around, because that woman, the Swedish woman, kind of did it, didn't she?
Yeah, she was a bit of a
Similar.
Kate Bush tribute act, weren't she?
Yeah. And then also Babushka, where she's in that big battle dress thingy, swanning around.
I thought you were doing like an Arc Right from Open All Hours announcement there. Ba Bushka. Ba Bushka.
Well, that's where she goes, babushka. So, yeah. Ba. Right, okay.
Yeah, Nick mentioned the Weird Al one, Amish Paradise. I don't think I've seen the video for that, but I've definitely heard the song.
I've seen it. It's quite funny.
Yeah, but
it's quite fun.
The song, the parody's really good.
Yeah.
Rach asks, "What about Dancing Queen by ABBA?" I mean,
good grief.
Did that have a proper? I suppose it must have done, really. Yeah. Well,
I thought it was just them performing.
Obviously.
Yeah, I thought it was just them performing.
Probably was. If you've got any sort of specific memories, Rach, about
by all means.
It might be the promo video. It might be some sort of performance elsewhere. I don't know, but do share them with us. But
I think she's right. I do think there was definitely one for Super Trooper, because I remember that.
Well, yeah, they released a few promo videos in the late 70s and early 80s, definitely. Because I've seen a couple on the Top of the Pops reaction I've been doing for one thing. I think the one that just came out on the channel a couple of weeks ago from 76 had ABBA in with Fernando, I think.
Yes,
and that was definitely a promo video. Yeah. There's still more on Jason's list, so let's have another one.
It's down to you now, mate. You can cover this one.
Oh, right.
I know you love this band.
Yeah, this could be a shorter edition tonight if I start struggling with stuff just before I get going with mine. Nick mentions about Gay Bar by Electric Six.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
I don't remember the video for that, and the song kind of got on my nerves.
After a while, yeah.
Electric Six, because they were the ones who did Danger High Voltage, weren't they? There's something about that guy's voice that I just couldn't get on with.
No.
Yeah, Wayno's mentioned Danger High Voltage. Rach has also mentioned I'm a Barbie Girl by Aqua. Sorry, Jim. Hey, don't apologise. I've got Aqua's album when it got reissued last year on. I think I've got it on either white vinyl. Yeah, I think it is white vinyl actually. Yeah,
a friend of mine.
Nothing wrong with it in 90s Euro dance and Euro pop.
A friend of mine. He'd been off like traveling the world and all the rest of it, and I think he went to Ibiza, and that was where they played it. And he was going on about this song. Oh yeah, he's just tune about being a Barbie doll and all the rest of it. I was like, what? And then he played it to me, and I was like, facepalm. And it was all in the clubs. It was like really massive over there.
Well, you got that, didn't you? You got like these sort of songs that like were just you heard them everywhere when you went on holiday. And that would have been one. I mean, I remember, holidays to like Mallorca and stuff back in the late 80s, and like you'd hear something and they'd be like, "Oh, that sounds catchy," but I haven't heard that back home. And then you'd get home after like a week or a fortnight in Mallorca, and then a couple of weeks after that, the song that you heard on holiday, suddenly you'd start hearing it on the top 40 and like see it on Top of the Pops. So it's quite a common thing that. So Jason's out of Jason's eight memorable music videos that he chose.
Well, I've done 6.
Well, you kind of chose all 8, but
but okay.
Because I'm a big fan of both of the final bands here, the last 2. But he suggested that I kind of talk more about these, so that's why I've got the bins on, just so that I can try and decipher the hieroglyphics that are Jason's notes.
It should be all right because most of it was copy and pasted from things. I didn't actually type much of it.
True. But Jason's number 7, and no qualms from me because this is my favourite band of all time. but is True Faith by New Order. So the song, according to the singer Bernard Sumner, he said it's about drug dependency or heroin addiction, to be precise. He said he doesn't touch smack, but when he wrote that song, he tried to imagine what it'd be like to be a smackhead, and nothing else matters to you except that day's hit. It's funny actually. The one thing about the song before we get onto the video itself, it did have a lyric that had to be changed. I don't think it would have been Factory Records who insisted on the change, but the lyric "They're all taking drugs with me" had to be dropped.
Yes, I know. I did read that.
They'd still sometimes use that lyric in live performances. Not always. It depends. I think it's whatever mood Bernard's in really when he's in a concert.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an indicator that it was about drug abuse or heroin usage.
Yes.
But the video itself is directed and choreographed by Philippe Decouflet. He was a Frenchman, I believe. It was produced by Michael Schamberg, an American guy who did a lot of video-related stuff with New Order and Factory Records.
All right, okay.
Apparently the video has often been voted among the best music videos of its year. That would be 1987, by the way. And it's been given sort of plaudits by Sky TV's channel The Amp, which sounds a bit
I've never heard of that until now.
Smash It's readers voted it the third best video of 87. I'd be interested to know what they thought was better in 1987 than that. The opening sequence of the video is two men slapping each other. Apparently, I didn't know this. Jason's really done his homework for me here. It's a reference to Marina Abramovich and Ule's video performance, Light/Dark, shot in 1977. Right. Well,
I've no idea what that is.
Every day's a school day. I've read so many books about New Order and Factory Records, and I never knew that.
No, well, there you go.
The costume dancers then leap about, they fight and slap each other in time to the music, while a person in dark green makeup emerges from an upside-down boxer's speed bag and hand signs the lyrics in French. I do remember the sign language. I suppose it makes sense it being in French, actually, with the director, Philippe Decouflet, being French.
Well, there's similarities, because, with my dad being deaf, there were similarities between that and English one anyway. So it's the same thing, right? Because she goes like that, doesn't she? And then that's English as well. It's the same in English. So the meaning. I think the meaning is more or less the same.
Well, certainly that bit. Yeah. So after much bouncing about and slapping, the video breaks down into chaos as the various characters proceed to fight everybody else, like some weird WWE gimmick match. Is that you paraphrasing a bit?
That's what I thought it sounded like to me. It was weird. Very strange video.
It was. I
like it though a lot.
I've only got one problem with it. I think the video was kind of like a sort of pretentious arty piece. It works. It works completely for me. Nick says Philippe Decouflet. It does sound like that. It should be his name, doesn't it? On a New Order video that I've got, I think Stephen Morris actually calls him that deliberately, just to raise a chuckle. But my one problem with the True Faith video is when they insert clips of the band performing, because remember the clips of they're like close-up clips of mainly Bernard, but you saw
singing.
They were actually filmed at the 1987 Glastonbury Festival, and that was the first time they'd ever played True Faith in public.
Yeah.
I think they were unnecessary. I don't think they needed to be there, because a lot of New Order videos didn't have the band in them anyway, or if they did, they weren't like performing like the band.
No.
So I always wondered why Decouflet and Schamberg put those clips from Glastonbury '87 in, because I think it was a little bit unnecessary, really. But that's just me. it doesn't detract from what a brilliant video is, and the song's great. You know, I love New Order. Anyone who knows me for more than 2 minutes will figure that one out. Yeah, that's just a little niggle from me personally. But
it's fair enough comment.
Really good choice from Jason, and is it my very favourite New Order video? I mean, I've seen every video New Order have ever put out. I've even seen some like kind of unofficial fan-made ones as well.
Yeah.
It's got to be up there. It's probably going to be top 3 for me, I think, just because of what a great, if very surreal and baffling.
It is. It's very, very strange.
The video it is. Just have a quick look at the chat and break from True Faith, at least for the moment. Rach mentions Guns N' Roses' November Rain. Love that song.
Yeah, the video's good as well.
It's very overblown and very kind of sort of cock rock in places, but I do have a big fondness for November Rain. Also, I think Rach is on a weather theme here. She's mentioned Purple Rain.
Yeah.
And of course, I Want to Break Free by Queen. That was the cross-dressing one, weren't it?
Yeah, that was another one I was going to say about Rain. Funnily enough, I was going to do No Rain by Blind Melon.
I've never seen that. Don't know what that's about. You can talk about it if you want, Jace. You can.
Very briefly, it's this little girl. She's dressed up in Bumblebee. I think it's the lead singer's kid's sister. She's dressed up in a Bumblebee outfit. She's doing all this dancing, right? She's a little bit on the dumpy side, shall we say, right? So they're all laughing at her, all the rest of it, and she feels alone. Anyway, she goes off and she basically ends up finding her own people. There's all these other people dressed up like bumblebees dancing around and prancing around. So it's got a sort of, a happy ending. It's a little bit weird.
Describing it, there's some kind of familiarity to it. So, but the song, I can't imagine what the song's like in my head.
It's very sort of acoustic. Sort of slightly rocky, but quite sort of stripped down, easy going, nice vibe to it. Yeah, it's sort of okay. But I think again that's got a dark undertone to it.
Well, yeah. Seems all your favourites have some sort of weird dark undertone going on.
I like songs that got meaning and a story, a bit of a story behind them.
Yeah.
I just do. I don't know why. I just do. Yeah. Anyway, that was all. That was that one. That's very basic. Very basic one.
One for those of us not familiar with to maybe look up at some point.
Yeah.
I've probably said all I want to say about True Faith. Jason, have you got any comments? More comments?
No, I think you pretty much, because I said to you about what was going on. I think you've covered that.
My script there. So
Yeah.
Anything he wanted to say? I think.
No, I just remembered the souffle.
yeah, Philip de Souffle. Yeah.
I think that's going to stick, Right. I think that's it. So
just before I move on to the final one, just going back to New Order. Did you know? I mean, as videos go, for me, it's a very memorable one, but it's not particularly very interesting because it is just a basic studio performance. But the video for The Perfect Kiss by New Order, which was 1985,
I think I've seen that one.
Was directed by Jonathan Demme, who went on to direct Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, right. Okay. That's a nice bit of information.
I mean, if you're a New Order fan, you kind of know that. But if you're not a bigger fan, then you might be unaware of that. But I just thought I'd mention that when it popped into my head.
I mean, I've not really seen those, because me, I'm not one for gore and all the rest of it in movies, so I've never seen the films, but I know of them, obviously.
You've never seen the Hannibal Lecter films?
No, I don't want to either.
They're not. Now then, I know we're going right off topic here, but the Hannibal Lecter films, they're not horror films, they're more, I would call them like thrillers. There is one or two scenes in that are a bit kind of, but especially the second one, actually, which I really love, Hannibal. You know, they do go a little bit overboard on some of the gore.
See, that's why I wouldn't...
Actually, the first one, Silence of the Lambs, I think it's relatively, apart from maybe one or two scenes, it's relatively. It's more about the sort of psychological kind of.
Oh, I got that. I got that. And those sort of films in themselves don't bother me. I like films that mess with your heads.
But
you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't feel guilty about never seeing things like the bloody Manda Flaming Lorian anymore now that I know Jason's never seen Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
I'm not even a massive film buff, but I'd say if you've not seen Silence of the Lambs, then what even are you doing? But okay, Jason's got his reasons, and fair enough. A couple of mentions here before I move on. Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. I can't get on board with Metallica, you know. I've tried.
I do like that song. I do like that song.
Anything for me, really, Metallica.
I'm not really sure about the video though. What happened in the video? So you'd have to remind me, to be honest.
Mary on a Cross by Ghost. I think I've seen that video once actually, Rach, and yeah, it's a really good video. That, but Ghost are brilliant. Rach also mentions one. It's quite a nice one to mention for us, actually, Jason.
Yeah.
Can I Play Madness by Iron Maiden? Do you remember who was in that video, don't you?
Oh, I have not seen that video in years. You'll have to remind me. Sorry.
I think it was his final performance in anything before he died, if that's a clue for you.
Can't say that I remember.
Graham Chapman.
Really?
Yeah. He played,
right. I'd have to go back and watch that again.
Or a teacher in that Rach, I think. It's one I've not seen in a good few years.
Yeah.
I'm worrying now, miscredited. It was his final or one of his very final public performances.
I shall certainly look that up.
An Iron Maiden promo video, and I'm pretty certain it was Can I Play with Madness. So yeah, I'm a massive Monty Python nut.
Yeah.
And
but you know me, I like my Iron Maiden, so
anything linked to Python, I'm all in on. So good shout there from Rach.
Yeah.
Nick mentions about New Order's World in Motion. You were drunk as a skunk singing that in a Kettering pub in 19...
I think a lot of people were, to be fair.
Well, I wasn't, because I was only 10 years old.
Well, yeah, all right.
As for videos, that's never going to be New Order's greatest video, because it's kind of a little bit of a sort of rush job, really. But a New Order, well, I mean, they kind of not split up, but they kind of gone off and done their own thing, and then they sort of came back very temporarily just to get that finished.
They had the two of us, didn't they? The two of us, the other two, sorry. And Monaco, wasn't it?
The other two, and Revenge was Peter Hook's project. Electronic, of course, was Bernard Sumner's. Right, so right, so one more promo video, one more memorable music video to talk about. It is a very memorable one. I remember the first time I saw it, it was like, wow, they've really just nailed the spot on with the look of it. And we're talking about the song being Buddy Holly and the artist being Weezer.
Of course.
So, according to Jason's notes here, Rivers Cuomo stated in the past that the song was about a platonic friendship with an Asian woman back in high school. Well, I'm assuming you mean like an Asian schoolgirl, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He recalls how people would make fun of them for being friends who would often have to defend their friendship. That's interesting. That I love that single. I had the single on cassette. I've got the album because I'm a Weezer fan. I'm a Weezer collector. Yeah, Wayno says that's a great video. It was Wayno, a really, really good video.
Yeah.
But I had no idea about the meaning behind the song. It's something I never looked into, really.
Well,
that was an interesting stuff that Jason researched there. There's
a couple of other bits that I didn't actually put on there. The bit with the OE, I feel just like Buddy Holly, right? Mm-hmm. Was because at the time, if you remember, he had those black rimmed glasses.
Oh yeah.
And people said he looked like Buddy Holly.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah.
And although there was no relationship between Mary Tyler Moore and Buddy Holly as such, he did write a piece of music for the Mary Tyler Moore show.
Oh, did he?
Apparently so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there you go.
Right, okay.
Anyway,
So there was a link between Buddy Holly and Mary Tyler Moore, of course,
Yeah.
are mentioned in the chorus. So the video itself, it was directed by a bloke who's been mentioned a few times in tonight, Spike Jonze of Weapon of Choice and Jackass fame. He directed it at Charlie Chaplin Studios in Hollywood on the set of Arnold's Drive-In from the 1970s sitcom Happy Days. Well, yeah, that's it. It's just
That's what you
a
need to know.
spot on. You could have inserted that onto
Yeah.
or into any episode of Happy Days, and
Yeah,
until you started really listening to the music, you'd be just thinking, "Oh, they've got a musical interlude on today," and it's like, "Oh, hang on."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was so well done that. It features original cast member Al Molinaro, who introduces the band. Did he play a guy called Al?
He was Al.
Yeah, so yeah, Al Molinaro or Molinaro. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Who played Al, the diner owner, I think, something like that, weren't it?
I think he was the second owner.
Yeah, it won a bunch of awards, such as the MTV Video Awards for Best Alternative Video, Breakthrough Video, Best Directing, Best Editing, and it got nominated for Video of the Year, unsurprisingly, because it's Happy Days is that's something. I remember I used to watch that religiously every weekend.
Yeah.
But it's not something I've ever felt compelled to go back to in adulthood, weirdly. But as a kid, I loved it.
Oh yeah, same. I would say.
And it was quite an old show, but even by then, like Channel 4 repeats and things like that.
Yeah.
But the actual show itself, Happy Day, if someone said to me, "Oh, I'm selling a Happy Days box set, do you want to buy it?" I'd be like, "Oh, not really. I'm not bothered about seeing it."
Yeah, it's one of those programs.
Because so many other things from childhood.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to experience again and often again and again and again in adulthood. And Happy Days, for some reason, just doesn't. It's not one of them. But I really, really like how much like an episode of Happy Days that Weezer video is.
Yeah. Well, my character, because they did some, going off topic a little bit, they did the Pops a little while back, and the only one I picked up was the Fonz. Because he was just such a great character. Everyone wanted to be, from that series, everybody wanted to be the Fonz.
Yeah. It was all very well done. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the farms, well, speaking of like any of the main Happy Days characters, I think Spike Jonze, did he manage to sort of insert actual proper clips of all the actors from back,
I believe.
Because I'm sure we saw Henry Winkler and Ron Howard and people like that in the video, but obviously they were how they were when they were younger.
Yeah,
they weren't coming back on set all these years later.
No, I think it was
high school kids or
anything. I believe it was clips from the show. I wouldn't swear to it.
I'd have thought so, just from how young he looks. Don't forget, this came out in, I think, 1995. They wouldn't have had any of that age-reducing technology.
Well, they must have done it. They must have done it to
TV and film now. Yeah.
They must have done it with makeup for Al, because obviously he would have been significantly older. Right? But he does. There's another.
I think they did well with Al, because I think I remember saying at the time he doesn't really look that much older than what he did on the show.
No, so he doesn't.
That's probably why they used him in like an actual new bit, because they could get away with it. I think
that whole bit where he introduces the band, because he goes, was it Wisconsin's own Weezer? They're not actually from there at all. It was his hometown, and it was a cheeky sort of plug for his, for his hometown that he put in there, and they kept it.
Oh right.
And obviously the bit at the end where the band go off and said about the meal or whatever it was, and he goes, yep. That's obviously him as well.
Yeah.
Rather than just another clip.
Yeah, brilliant video. A really nice one to sort of conclude on, really.
Yeah, Oh, it was seamless, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I've been a Weezer collector on record, all their albums in more recent years, but I've considered myself at least a casual fan ever since that Buddy Holly video, and ever since I bought the single, as we used to call them.
I've said to you before, I wish they would do a best of, because there's a lot of, all right, I know they didn't perhaps have a massive amount of singles out, but what they did were very, very good.
Yeah, it's surprising. They've released kind of Weezer have released like a couple of kind of B-sides and obscure track kind of compilations, but they've never done a definitive like here's all our or here's some of our best known singles and things like that.
I mean,
I think they will do eventually. I'm just not sure why they've not got round to it yet, because obviously they've been going for
there's Come Undone
years now, nearly 30, I suppose.
Yeah, I love Come Undone, the Sweater song. That's really cool.
Mm.
And is it Islands in the Sun?
Yeah, Islands in the Sun.
That's a really good track.
I like a lot of their more recent stuff.
Well, I'm not up with it as much as you are, obviously.
Rach asks, Can I Play With Madness filmed in the same place as the Bonnie Tyler song Totally Eclipse the Heart? I don't know.
Who knows? It could well have been. There was quite a few videos there.
To research and do a bit of homework on that. I couldn't say yes or no on that one, Rach. And yeah,
I can't stand the song, but yeah,
I did get it right that it was Can I Play With Madness that Graham Chapman was in.
It was.
He played some sort of school teacher, headmaster type person.
Yeah.
You know, in quite a sad sort of note, you could tell he was quite ill at that point. But fair play to him. He, you know, being in an Iron Maiden video, one of the last things, may have been the last thing he did that was of any sort of public note. And Nick also says try the fish, which was that something out of Buddy Holly, or are you referring to something else? I'm not sure.
Try the fish, yeah, that was it. That was the end. He says try the fish.
God blimey, you lot have got such better memories of some of this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
That was it. Thank you.
So, well, you know, I think we've a bit earlier than normal, but we've come to the end of our memorable music video discussion. As Jason said earlier, there was a lot. I mean, he called his own list, and obviously I didn't make a list because I thought if I made a list and then we're kind of deciding which to pick, then one or both of us would be disappointed that we'd have to lose. So
you pick next time, mate.
This may be a topic that we revisit for a memorable music videos too, and I might have to pick 8, and then I'll try and pick a couple to talk about.
Before we sort of like tool off, we do the honourable mentions.
If you
want
to,
don't have to go into massive detail.
Jason's got some honourable mentions. I mean, I know that Blind Melon one would have been.
You said about a couple of them have been mentioned. Stand and Deliver was mentioned, right? That was a good video. You know, he's obviously Adam Ant was very sort of theatrical. You know, he did a lot of acting as well. Whether he was any good at it or not, I can't tell you. I've never seen any of his films, but yeah, I mean that was a good video. What was there was another one as well that someone mentioned. Can't remember now.
There's been a lot mentioned. I mean,
yeah, I know. I just trying to remember. There's a lot to sort of take in.
Yeah, I thought you meant your own honourable mentions.
Well, there are. There was one of them that was in the list, and I can't remember what it was now. Someone mentioned it.
Well,
but anyway, Madness House of Fun. I do like Madness House of Fun. If you remember that one.
I've seen the young ones bit too often to really remember the proper promo for it.
Madness, well, you know, obviously the song was about a bloke coming of age. He's going into the chemist to buy some condoms.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the song was about. But yeah, it's basically you see Suggs in there talking to this woman, right? And then he says, so and so, I can't remember the lyrics, so and so has just walked in. And you get 3 blokes dressed up like his mum and 2 of the neighbours or something going... doing their you know heavy foot stomp dance and all the rest of it, and I think there's a bit of the roller coaster as well. Don't know if you remember that.
No.
No. Okay. I mean,
The only thing with House of Fun is like I've just seen where the performance on the young ones like so many times.
I think I saw that.
For me, like my brain just kind of automatically makes me think that's the pro. Obviously, it's not the promo video.
No.
It was, but
is that one?
I don't remember seeing the proper promo for that.
Is that the
one at some point?
Yeah, is that the one where they get into a fight in the middle of the street with the young ones?
No, that was when they did Our House. That was.
Oh right, yeah.
They're on twice on the young ones. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, they had some good videos, some fun videos. Is it Wings of a Dove where they chuck the van out the back of a plane?
There again, I feel a bit embarrassed. So I really like Madness, but I don't remember many of their promos. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Even though for me, as a singles band, they were one of the strongest in the 80s, really.
Well, I bought the Best Of album because I love that. Only on CD, but I've got it.
Nick's final but he mentions about the roller coaster being at Great Yarmouth for the house.
Yes, yeah. Mick, well, I think you're right on that, if I remember correctly. I think they even said about it. Yeah. Well, it's one of those fun band facts, you know.
But it's been an enjoyable discussion this evening, as it always is. We're back to kind of normal Sodcast territory, really, just sort of picking a topic and expounding on it for, in this case, about an hour and a half. So we are finishing a little bit earlier than what we maybe normally would, but that's fine, you know. It's nice to keep things a little bit more concise occasionally. And as I say, if people do want us to talk about more music videos in the future, because there's so many others that we obviously haven't even touched upon tonight, and only other ones that we've touched upon very briefly. So if you want us to revisit this topic, then let us know in the comments, or just shoot me a message at some point or whatever, and we will get back to more memorable promo videos and music videos at some point, possibly, if people want. But we're back in 3 weeks. I think we know what we're doing in 3 weeks, but
I think I know what you said.
We need to do a bit of planning for stuff beyond that, but I'm not going to worry too much about that, especially as we've got this extra week's break, really. I want to thank everyone who came in the chat and interacted with us. We're really appreciated. I thought this was a good addition for people to really get involved in the chat, because
it was nice.
Everyone's got lots of memories of certain videos. Nick says yes, talk about more videos. If you like it, Nick, we'll do it again. I'm sure we will, mate.
By all means, can I just say, by all means, anybody, right? It doesn't matter whether we've seen them or not, right? You can suggest them to me, right? And Jimmy, I will certainly go off and I'll watch. Even if it's bands that perhaps aren't that well known. If it's a good video, it's a good video, right? It could be a crap song and still be a good video.
Yeah, I think I need to start watching some of these Madness videos that I've either never seen or just can't remember.
Probably,
certainly for people of a certain age, are going to be really memorable. I mean, So but I want to say thank you everyone who participated, who watched and left comments and has interacted with us. That's really helped us out tonight, because it's helped us talk about more things than just the 8 videos that we'd intended to talk about. As I say, no Sodcast in 2 weeks, but there will be one the week after. And I know Jason is probably going on his not holidays, but visiting family and stuff. So there may be other gaps in the schedule, but we'll definitely be back in 3 weeks' time. I think we sorted that out quite a while ago. If you're watching the replay, thank you for that as well. Don't forget, give Jason a sub, if I can point the right way. Give him a sub at Not
I've got it wrong now as well.
That's Jimmy Barnes YT. If you're not subscribing already, I don't normally ask for subs and stuff, but I just thought, as this has put me in a good mood, I've had a bit of a shitty day, really. But this,
I'm glad of that, mate. I'm glad it should you up.
This has perked me up a bit, this stream tonight. So I do thank everyone for helping out with that.
Really appreciate it.
I will say goodbye, and please join us in 3 weeks' time for number 5 of the old Sodcast. Cheers, Jason, and thank you, everyone, and we'll see you very soon.
Ta-ra.